Has Harvard, I mean, they lost the case about admissions and using kind of affirmative action, or rather not, maybe not affirmative action as much as kind of the games that they were playing to disallow Asian students
de facto.
Like become,
they wouldn't frame it that way.
But I mean, they lost that case and said at UNC, a public college. Has that had any effect on, like, either who gets admitted or like what campus life is like and intellectual life?
Not yet. It might. And in fact, there is suspicion that universities will find clever workarounds, such as personal experience statements in which I think this was a loophole allowed by the Supreme Court decision, you could indicate how your own life experience makes a Harvard education especially relevant to you. And that's basically a way of saying, I'm an African American.
Right.
So there will be various loopholes. And I think there's a feeling, even among those of us who are opposed to hard racial preferences, that there is something desirable about not having 1% of the student body be African American at a flagship elite university, or just for the experience of our own students and faculty. So,
what do you think about, one of the ways that I guess the Ivies started getting around when Jews started showing up in large numbers, they started imposing geographical diversity, maybe not requirements, but expectations. And that kind of makes sense, right? Like you want to hear from Ezra Pound, who was born and raised in Idaho, right? Or T.S. Eliot from St. Louis. I mean, how do you match those kinds of interests in diversity and then also ideological diversity? Well, because that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. So ideological diversity is the almost the raison d'etre of a university. Not because every viewpoint is equally valid, but just because at any given time, most of us are going to be wrong about most things, and we won't know it because everyone loves their own ideas.
Right.
So the idea of academic freedom and more important, intellectual diversity is just, I think, baked into the mission of a university, which is pursuing the truth.
That's an excerpt from my podcast, The Reason interview with Nick Gillespie. If you want to see more excerpts, go here. And if you want to see the full Q&A, go here.